So fun fact about Torri, we went glamping last weekend. And when I mean glamping, I mean electricity, water in our trailer, all of the things. We sit in the bed to go to bed. I think everything is great. And she goes, you know what, I just can't do this. Can you take a picture of me? I need to send this to my mom right now. She's going to be so proud of me. And was like freaking out all night. And it was the most on-brand behavior ever.
I think being proud of yourself for stepping out of your comfort zone is totally fine. I don't camp. Like, did you grow up camping? I feel like you did.
No, we actually didn't, oddly enough.
Oh. Like, I have never been camping. And once I went on a press trip and had to stay in an RV, and that also tested my spirits. So, I mean, I'm not saying that I have to be in the most glam situations, but I am saying I prefer 5-star hotels. So
and
that's
on that
all.
note, let's roll the intro. Torri, you are such a great entertainment.
Thank you.
All around.
I so appreciate that. I feel like I'm working at about a 3 today, so my comedy might be. I'm very, very tired. I had a matcha latte
very, very tired.
And a coffee. So you know what it is? I feel like when you take the busy 4 weeks that we've had. Yeah. Today it's crashing down on me.
You're allowed to have that.
I actually feel like I'm losing my voice, which is like really.
It's a little raspy.
I know. I kind of like it though.
Well, before we hop into all of the crazy things we have today, we got to hop back in to another amazing sponsor. We have Roar on board again. Can you believe that they came back for another week?
They've come back. And this episode is brought to you by Roar Organic Canada. Roar Organic is the next generation of premium electrolyte beverages for millennial hustlers like you. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder or looking to tear it down, hitting the gym or hitting the pavement, Roar Organic has the ingredients for success. It's got organic electrolytes for faster hydration, antioxidants to protect against free radicals, and B vitamins to help you be a go-getter.
I actually drink these drinks all the time, and I'm obsessed with them. Sometimes I'll grab one after a workout to replenish my electrolytes or even just to go along with my lunch. Since they're so low in sugar with no preservatives or artificial flavors, it's the perfect alternative to water or other sugar-packed beverages.
Now, since we want our Poddy Talk listeners to try this beverage out, we're hosting a giveaway over on our Instagram. One lucky winner will receive a case of Roar. To enter, go to Poddy Talk Podcast on Instagram and go to the most recent post or the post with the caption, Episode 14 Giveaway. All the details on how to enter for a chance to win Roar will be on the post, so good luck, everyone.
So if you didn't win the case of Roar last week, maybe this will be your week.
This is a lucky day.
Might be your lucky day. And on that note, I think we should crack this baby open and hop into all of the weekend festivities.
This is the strawberry coconut flavor this week.
Yeah,
I'm into this.
Again, the electrolyte beverages I think is exactly what we need after such a crazy weekend. I
actually think this might be my favorite flavor.
Yeah, the
strawberry coconut.
It's really nice for summer.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so this weekend was Torchella, which I think we briefly explained last week what Torchella was, but essentially, because I had a mental break on my 21st birthday, because I was so burnt out, the following year my friends founded Torchella, which was meant to be sort of this weekend getaway.
Founded Torchella.
Well, I was
the way that we speak about this is hilarious.
I know.
When we tell other people, they're like,
so they founded Torchella. Essentially, Mackenzie, my friend, was the co-founder along with my boyfriend. And, she continues to function as the COO, and Adam is the CEO, I guess. But anyways, it's a cottage weekend getaway where we all go up to a nice Airbnb and just, kind of let loose, have fun, relax. It's supposed to be, the less stressful version of a birthday party.
No, totally. And I think it's just, a really fun weekend to celebrate you. And, you are honestly such a good friend. And you,
thanks.
I think it's just a good time for us to give back,
Wow.
And to really show our things. We had so many fun activities. We did a little...
Jaclyn was very on the activities this year. The shirts we're wearing, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see they're so sick, but we basically did tie-dye. Well, I must be specific. Jaclyn and my sister did tie-dye. Everyone else kind of copped out of that activity.
Paige Webster is actually the queen of tie-dye. She had the techniques down pat. She had done it before, and she was telling us the twist, and then you put the rubber bands, and I just kind of crumpled them into a ball, which was not the best approach looking back, but it was a live and learn kind of situation. And
now we know.
It was funny because I'd say for about 4 or 5 weeks prior to this birthday Torchella weekend happening, Torri kept hinting that she wanted merch for Torchella, which that statement alone is just hilarious. On my birthday, I would like some merchandise. I think you were really inspired by the Kylie skin trip, I remember. You were like, I love the Kylie skin tie-dye. So I was thinking like, oh my gosh, what can we do? What can we do?
I did love her stuff.
Anyways, huge shouts out to our friends at T-Shirt Elephant. They do custom T-shirts here in Toronto. I reached out to them, and they turn these T-shirts around so much quicker than they normally would because
that was great.
I told them the scale of Torchella.
You also chose a great font, which is appreciated by me.
Thanks so much. But we ended up doing a little DIY tie-dye action ourselves. Went to our friends at Michael's, and actually, hey, if any of these people want to sponsor us, whenever I mention a brand, I'm like, we should get them on board.
Michael's. And, I actually love Michael's.
Yeah, no, it was really great. We bought some dye. I'd never done it before, and they turned out great.
I'd say they look amazing.
I wanted a sunset kind of orange creamsicle energy, and that's how it turned out.
I'm trying to think of some highlights, but one of the highlights was that Adam surprised me with this mat, like floaty mat to attach onto the dock. Yeah, a water mat. And he tied it to the dock, but it must have been at least 10 feet long, the mat, if not longer. Do you think it was longer than 10 feet?
No, it's probably like 10 feet, yeah. I can't bend my legs in these jeans. I'm trying to find a comfortable position.
And then he attached the water mat to the dock, and that's how I feel right now. Jaclyn's sleeping, and I want to do the same.
I just love our new, these pillows.
So he attached it to the dock, and then it got everyone in the water. However, then there's literally a water snake, and that energy is just far too much for me. I cannot.
Are they poisonous? Can they hurt you?
Well, apparently I said it's poisonous, and then everyone goes, "You're so dumb, Torri. There's no poisonous snakes in Toronto." And I thought, okay, well, Ontario.
That was just not the energy you needed to receive on your birthday, was it?
Well, then I got into a chicken war with my friend Ken's. You know what chicken wars are, when you like go and grab the other human and try and push them off the mat. So we were on the water mat.
I have never witnessed anything
more aggressive?
Yes. I was surprised you guys weren't injured more.
Well, I almost died because we end up like going into the water at the same time. Like the goal is to push the other person off the mat to get into the water. But then she like pushes me under, and I literally, so much water went up my nose and in my mouth. And then I come up and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, no, I'm not okay.
I feel like one area in life where you can't be over dramatic is when you're in the
water.
Because like that's a serious thing, right?
But I actually didn't feel okay.
No,
so
I
it was fair that I said no.
So I was like holding the water mat trying to stabilize it as they're playing chicken, and I see Mackenzie, I think she slipped but somehow like locked onto you, so like you guys both just tumbled down together.
She pushed me further down than I would have gone naturally, and I wasn't ready to grab, so I had no air because I was pushed under so.
Well, and I saw you go down, and I go, oh, that's not a good one, and then you came up and you're like, I was like, oh, are you okay, Torri? She goes, no, no. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's drowning. So I start like paddling over to her, and then like literally 5 seconds later, she's like, I'm actually okay, but like that was intense.
But then I had to get out of the water to almost die and throw up, because like think about the fact that I swallowed lake water that like people poo and pee in.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Hey, I swam in the Soho House pool and I survived. You drank the pee water in the lake, and I think it builds immunity, right?
I would hope so, but I can't say I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but it was definitely a crazy, crazy weekend. We actually started the weekend off on a crazy note because we can't just go up to Torchella and make that the thing. We actually started off at Boots and Hearts, which is a country festival up north, kind of actually where we ended up cottaging.
Oro-Medonte,
that was the stomping grounds. We were there on a bit of a work trip, and that's when we ended up doing the trailer thing and ended up doing some glamping, and it was hilarious because I think maybe 3 or 4 years prior I'd been there to those grounds for a different festival. It was called Way Home, which doesn't exist anymore, which is really sad.
Yeah.
But I was camping, and like proper camping at a festival where you're in like the small tent, and we didn't have shower passes, so we literally just didn't shower for 5 days. You're in disgusting outhouses, and if you think a regular outhouse is bad, imagine a festival where people are eating garbage, drinking, doing God knows what, and that is all being retrieved in the porta potty. So by like day 4 or 5, I couldn't even enter. I just couldn't do it.
Well, we gave up on the porta potties really early this year.
Yeah.
Something about a porta potty is so disgusting to me.
On a midsummer's day when the sun is beaming in and just like steaming.
I literally cannot.
I thought I was better. I thought I was like gonna be okay.
It's something about the heat.
Yeah, it makes you. It's sickening. It's sickening.
So disgusting.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that was not my favorite.
Absolutely crazy. But no, it was a great weekend all around.
Well, the year that you camped, I stayed in, again, a 5-star hotel down the road.
She would come to the festival every day, full extensions and full
glam.
Like so glam. And I was looking rough. I looked really rough, actually. I was like sunburned and dirty and probably smelling bad.
Well, you got a nice tan that year.
I did get a really good tan because we were just outside all day. But anyways, long story short, this trailer for me felt like the 5-star hotel, and for you,
in comparison to your tent days.
Oh, fully. I was like, we had somewhat running water. It's like the pump water. We were still using Fiji water to wash our face.
Oh yeah, Jaclyn hated that. I'm like, pass me the water bottles.
No, I get it. For your face, you don't want to use like
sewage
old
water. Like, I'm sorry, that's
it wasn't
just
sewage water, but it definitely was.
Well, you can't confirm that. You don't know.
I don't know. I do not know. And we somehow got lucky too that not a lot of people were like hectic on our campground. We were
well, because we were
they
kind
set
of
us
in
up
the staff area. That's
but
the
I
other
hear
thing
it gets
too.
rowdy at night.
I don't
did not
think
have
I
the
would have
energy for
fit
that.
in there. No.
we just weren't there. We weren't there to party. We were there to work. So it's like we weren't trying to stay up to 3 a.m.
No.
and like I was fully in bed by like 11.
How do you feel about country music? Are you like into it?
So I grew up in a small town, and I feel like everyone pretty much exclusively listens to country there.
Huh.
So I mean, I grew up like.
It's a wonder you have any taste in music then.
Oh my God, you're gonna offend so many country fans.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I like. I'm not saying. I just mean if that's all you were surrounded by,
Right.
I'm surprised you would, find a new taste for other types of genres.
Sure, no, totally. But I don't know. I was never really drawn to country music growing up. But now that I am away from it and don't really listen to it, other than like country pop, but I don't listen to like true country. Although I have to say, I do love Sugarland. I don't know if they count as like true country, but I love them. They're so
I don't know
cute.
who that is.
The ooh 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 stuck on you, stuck like glue.
Nope.
You would know that song.
Definitely can tell you I don't know that song.
Yo, everyone knows that song.
Okay.
Okay. Yo, I'm gonna play it for you later. You're like, oh,
Okay.
that song. But no, now when I listen to country, it actually makes me very nostalgic and like reminds me of being in high school and like when my best friend got her G1 and we were like driving down the road and like blasting whatever. So
I feel
now
like
it brings
country
back
does have a
memories.
sense of nostalgia.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but it does.
Even for you?
Yeah, a little bit.
But you grew up, you were like very,
Yeah, but
more
like-
like Taylor Swifty, like OG country.
Yeah, I guess like she really was categorically country back then, but for the last long time she's been so poppy that it's not really. But I always did like the twang. I always thought if I was going to be a singer, I would be a country singer. Isn't that so weird?
Really?
Yeah, because
Like you'd be an opera singer.
no, because I always thought I had the rasp for like the Carrie Underwood, like.
Dug my
Yeah, that's
key.
the song I always think of. I dug my key into the side of his. I always thought I like could do the like. I don't
So
know.
if we have anyone listening,
So bring
whose
this to
parents
life.
Are producers.
I'm gonna be a country singer.
Sign Torri. Whoa, we have a very sketchy stain on this carpet over here. Are you seeing that? This
No.
really.
Yeah.
You don't see that big.
How do you feel about cleaning? Because now you have your own home. Do you clean a lot?
Actually, yeah. I feel like
Your
I've
mom
become
was
my
always
mom.
so
Yeah.
A1 about it.
So my mom, if you had ever come over to my like family home, you would think that no one lives there, and I think that's what my
Sterile.
mom wants. Yeah, very
Yeah.
sterile, and like, yeah, it just reminds me. There's this one meme, this like video of this like guy who was trying to like whatever be like, oh, whenever your parents have friends coming over. It was this video, and he's like in the video, just make it look like no one lives here. Get rid of any sign of life. And I think about that all the time. And like they hold the vacuum, and we're like, ah, with the vacuum. But that's what I
funny.
think of, and I mean that in the most loving way because now I appreciate it because growing up everything was so clean. Like, you could
Right.
eat off the floors in my family house. Anyways, but it used to almost drive me nuts because it would be like 10 p.m. at night, and I would hear the Dyson, and she'd just like. And
Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, it's bedtime. Stop Dysoning. And like she would Dyson
Because
5
I
times a
think
day.
there's a fine line, right? It's like you want cleanliness, but you also like that's an obsession.
No, it's not even an obsession. It's just a way of life for her. And she just likes things.
I don't
really
mean
clean.
for her maybe, but I
Yeah.
mean like anyone that wants it at like a certain level, like that becomes like an OCD-ness. Like if it's not perfect.
I think that is a thing. I remember seeing a TLC episode about someone who was very
Right.
about like bleaching things, and my mom was not like that. She just likes things really clean, and especially
Yeah.
if anyone's coming over, she wants them to feel comfortable. So like she will like fully just like sanitize and clean everything.
Yeah,
And
that's so nice.
So I grew up kind of like not like. I don't want to say detesting it, but like obviously when I was like growing up, I was like, I don't care to like have my clothes hung up. I'll just leave them in a pile on the
Right.
like on the ground and whatever. And now that I live alone, I definitely am turning into her. I
Yeah.
have my Dyson, and oh,
You're just becoming
do
Trace.
I love my Dyson. I mean, I'm definitely. I don't even want to say I'm like her in the sense like that's almost taking away
how good she is
her-
at it.
Yeah, like, I'm not even as good as she is, but I definitely do have.
You've caught up on some
I
traits.
don't know. It's weird though. I don't mind being messy in the sense that like I don't care if my clothes kind of pile up or
Yeah.
like if my clothes don't get put away, but if there's crumbs on the floor, like I've got to clean that up.
Yeah,
I think
crumbs
it's
is
also
weird.
more when like people come over. Now I realize it bothers me because now I have my own furniture.
I know,
and like
yeah.
if someone like
doesn't treat it the way you would treat it.
Or like
yeah.
just like someone was over once and they like kind of just like wiped the crumbs onto the floor. I'm like, just like put it on your plate or like.
Oh, ew, yeah.
So
no.
like it bothers me when people maybe I guess don't treat my house the way that I would want it to treat it.
And it's almost like you set the standard. So it's like if someone came in and it was like a complete disaster, then people don't feel like they have to treat it nicely because they're like, oh, it's already a disaster.
Right.
But no, it definitely, yeah.
But I used to never think that way when it was like my family home. Like,
Totally.
obviously, I don't want like friends coming over and just like pouring drinks on the ground or whatever.
No, but I think you do become
when it's
naturally more protective of your own.
Don't get the velvet dirty on the chair.
I think it's because like it's your own assets and your own hard work that is like, you know.
It definitely does give you a whole new perspective. So
yeah, I
definitely
say.
have changed kind of my behavior. What about you? Are you?
I'm a very like PG cleanliness person in the sense that if I'm having people over or if I'm like just in a bad headspace, cleaning really helps me because I feel like when you have a clean house, you have a clean mind. I feel like that is a nice connection to make. Like, and so like the last few days I've just been like cleaning so much, but I think it's because I've been so busy in other walks of life that I haven't been able to like give my home the love. But like I had a cleaning lady come a couple weeks ago for the first time and like changed my life.
Oh yeah, how did she? Was it good?
So good, and I was like, this is gonna have to be something that I just invest in because it's not. I like cleaning. I'm not against it, but I also just realize how busy I am in my day-to-day life, and because I'm freelance and I sit in my home to work, sometimes I will just sit and work all day, and me doing the dishes or me doing something else is not the priority, which is too bad because like I can't complain. You think of all these like households where you come home from work and you're like, fuck, I have to clean the whole house. Like, so I totally get it. But I also live alone, so there's no one else helping me. But I don't know, like, I would say, like you, I don't care about clothes, don't bother me. Like, if they're just out, like, whatever, it's not ideal. But yeah, it's more like disgusting things. Like,
yeah, it's like the unhygienic things.
Yeah, like any, I agree. And I feel like something about, like, the bathroom, I feel like that's like the first place I'll clean, in the kitchen. Like those are places I always want to be like not disgusting.
Yeah, it's always fascinating to me too. I feel like when I'm
But then it's like, oh, am I gonna scrub my tub? Nah. You know what I mean?
See, I don't mind doing that stuff.
Yeah, no.
I do.
That's when I hire the cleaning lady.
No, I feel that. I feel like my day-to-day is just like surface clean, but I'm trying to be good, trying to take care. My mom always says too, she's like, if you take care of your things better, they'll last better, and like, why would you want to wear through things quicker? And I'm like, you know what? It rings true sometimes, and I'm like, oh, I could take the easy way out.
It's very true,
No,
and sometimes I can
scrub it out.
Yeah, like I can feel myself be like lazy again, going back to like after a long day working, you're not like, oh, like those are moments when I realize I'm young. You know what I mean? Like I know when I'm like 40 and I have kids and I have to come home from work and I do that. But then I think to myself, I always said I would be like that in my 20s and I'm not really. Like if I have, you always say like if I have dishes in my sink, like I'll do my dishes. Like I like doing my dishes and I'm like, yo, fuck that. Like I know that I still have that sort of like immaturity in me where I'm like, I'm gonna go grab beers with my friends. I'm not gonna do my dishes.
Right.
Like I feel like I still don't have that like grown up mentality of, let me keep it all pristine and perfect. Like I try to.
That's my Tracy Lynn coming out.
Yeah,
I am
no.
becoming like that.
And also, I feel like my house for one small human is actually like a lot of square footage for me to clean.
No, your house is quite large.
It feels like large and clean, so I feel like I have to go like room by room, and I'm like, geez, like if my like walk-in closet is dirty, then
do you have a Dyson? Because I need to get you a Dyson.
I don't have a Dyson. No, I got a Swiffer, and I like my Swiffer.
I need to get you a Dyson.
I like my Swiffer
because you do have a lot of floor. I feel like
know
you
the
value
floor, and I have a
Dyson
carpet.
V11, it can go on the carpet to the hardwood. It knows how to change the pressure.
Yeah, I definitely need that. It is funny, like, because I remember when I moved out to go to university, I kept saying to my parents, or I had this idea in my head of what my apartments were gonna be like in a way that I was like, my clothes are gonna be perfect and my this is gonna be perfect. Like I just had that like idea in my head of like what not to wear, or like what's that show that they used to, Home Improvement?
With Ty.
With Ty, I forget what it was called. Yeah.
Home Improvement?
I guess so.
Home Makeover.
But then also just like shows that I looked up to, like I was always like, oh, I want my closet to be like Blair Waldorf's and Gossip Girl.
Oh God, yeah, I know.
And then you kind of go, like I remember going to university and just like my entire apartment was just like a shit show. Like, I mean, I had roommates for a long time and I feel like I always had a lot of like crap, like just like stuff. Not crap. I just always
No, but there's just debris.
have had a lot of stuff. So now my like main goal is just when I don't use something to just
get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Give it to Goodwill. Give it to someone else that will use it.
Oh, those are the type of plants that I'm looking for my house. Someone just walked by with a big banana leaf plant.
I saw that.
That's something that I need. I still need to get a plant. My whole thing is when I moved, I was like, I'm going to be settled in 2 days. I'm going to get all the furniture, settle in, done. And everyone's like, Jaclyn, it's going to take a few months, like if not a year, to get the apartment
Everything
to where
done.
you want it to be. And I was like, okay, maybe for you, but I'm going to get it done in 2 days.
Yeah.
And now I'm like 2 months in, and I'm like, I still don't have the desk. I still need to get a media unit. Like, there's so many random little things.
It just takes a long time.
It does. But I do think it's better to do it that way versus what I wanted to do, because then you kind of live in the space and you truly understand what's not working / what you need.
Or like if you even need it, because that was the other thing too that my mom has always said to me. Whoa, sorry guys,
knocking over the beverages. Sorry, I put my feet up on here, so I'm kind of ruining our table.
I know. My mom always said,
I wanted to leisure.
Anything you brought into the house, don't forget that you have to bring out of it. And I feel like that's really true. Like, and moving for me has always been a disaster because of the way I hoard my things. So it's like, takes me double the time. So now I start to just do these like monthly cleans where I really kind of, have I used this in the last 4 weeks? No, okay, I'm gonna get rid of it. So doing that is helpful, but it's also just like, oh my God, when I move out of this damn apartment.
Yeah.
I just can't even think about it.
Okay, again, this brings me right back to my mom. My mom's gonna hate this episode. I love you, Mother. It's just, all her habits are coming up to me right now.
Yeah.
So growing up, I swear to God, she had a cycle where if in 3 months you didn't touch it or use it, it's gone. And that was kind of her rule.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, but we live in Canada. There are seasons. Like, I'm not going to be using my winter jackets in 3 months.
Right, or like a snowboard or like a skateboard might only be a summer thing.
But she like, and again, though, it's almost admirable because this is how she keeps her clothing so curated, how she keeps all of her like belongings. Like, she doesn't have a lot of things. She has things that she uses and not a lot of things that she doesn't use, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah, every 3 months it would be like, I'd get scared. I'm like, Mom, where's this? And she's like, oh, yeah, I donated it to the Amity. We don't have it. I'm like, Mom, like, she would never give away my personal belongings or, like, sentimental things.
Actually, that's funny. My mom definitely did that growing up, too, because she was very
she'd be like, oh, yeah, waffle maker. We haven't used it in a while. I just got rid of it. I'm like, but
yeah,
but no, it's also
weird.
good, though. But I'm trying to be more like that because it's so easy for things to pile up.
I know.
Also, I think...
Well, I think of my parents' house. Like, they've lived there now for, I guess, almost 10 years. And it's a really big house. And that's going to be a sad day when someone has to clean out that house. Because even just our crawl space, like, piles and piles of costumes and things and childhood, dance costumes and photo books. Like, the amount of crap we have in that house. I mean, it's very clean and very organized for what it obviously is. Like, my mom keeps it pristine. But just in the crevices, you know what I mean? Like, you open that closet door and it's like, what's actually in there? And you have to start emptying that out. I can't even imagine.
Totally.
Do you get emotional about moving?
Not at all, actually. I don't really get attached to, like, physical places or things. The only things, and I think we even brought this up one time, the only thing that I would be upset if we lost is, like, our childhood, like, kind of memory box / photo albums and videos. I did the whole thing of, like, I transferred all the video files over to, digital, and I have backups of them, so if those were to ever, whatever, knock on wood, get destroyed. But, like, all the original photos and
the
just,
original
like,
photos
mementos.
are really nice.
My mom was so good growing up. We had this kind of, like, it wasn't a scrapbook. It was more like a book, but there was, like, pockets in each page so you can kind of, like, stuff, like, items in. So each, like, grade year, we would kind of fill it out. So they would put, like, our school picture on it. We'd, like, write how tall we were, how much we weighed, like, what our skills were, who our friends were that year.
Wow.
And it would be, like, accomplishments. It would be, like, track and field accomplishments or, like, gymnastics, like, medals or things like that. And then inside the bucket, we'd put our report cards and, like, ribbons and, like, concert stubs and tickets, like, stuff like that. So it's, like, actually the coolest little, like, visual scrapbook diary thing where I could go back to, like, grade 3, and she would always make us, like, write it ourselves, so we'd fill it out with our own writing.
That's
and, like,
cute.
my, like, letters were all backwards when I was a kid. But you would just open it up, and then you could see, like, these, like, little artworks or, like, these little photos or just little moments or, like, newspaper clippings of, like, my track days or whatever. And, like,
that's awesome.
It's, like, actually so sweet that she did that. And looking back, it just, like, it feels like another life sometimes. I'm like, whoa, even why at 21 does that seem so far away, like elementary school and all of that? But that would suck if we lost all of that.
It's funny because for a long time I felt still very close to high school, and it's I would say not until this year, like being a solid like almost 2 years now out of university, And now I'm like, oh, that feels like a long time ago.
So I think I agree. I felt kind of not stuck in high school, but like the aftertaste just lingers on for a while, and you still feel very in tune to like what high school is, and you don't realize that like, oh no, the people that are in high school right now, they're like 2000 babies. And
Yeah, it's my brother.
They're youngins. They're my little cousins, exactly. And I don't know what's like cool
going
anymore.
on, yeah.
Like who they're listening to, what the cool things to like. I don't know any of that stuff, and I always
thought
I just was
would.
like, oh, I know what high schoolers are into. Like I'm a high schooler, but it's like, no, you're not. You're in your 20s. Get a grip, move on.
Yeah.
But now I agree. For some reason, this past year, I've really felt like that is
like very distant.
5 years since high school, and I'm finally just being like, oh, that was a lifetime ago.
Yeah, and 5 years is a long time.
Totally. Well, 5 years back in high school would have been being in elementary. Like,
right.
When you're in school, 5 years feels so far away. Like from grade 1 to being in grade 6, that's 5 years in between.
Yeah.
That seems like such a journey.
Huge
Whereas
journey.
when you're out of school, 5 years goes by so quick.
No,
and
totally.
It's so sad and a little scary.
I guess it'll be really scary when I start to feel far from university, because I still feel very like in tune with that, and like, you know, that's kind of my like touchstone of like memories right now is being in university. So that'll be really interesting. Like, what's next? Now I just count in damn years.
That's the weirdest thing is I feel like a lot of my memories are tied to school years.
Because it's easy to be like, oh, when I was in grade 9, this happened to me. Oh, when I was in first year university, this happened to me.
Whereas the past 5 years have been a bit of a blur. Like, I couldn't tell you.
But I don't even know what year we met for that exact reason. Like, it's like, when did we meet?
2016?
Summer? Summer of?
Like spring, like maybe May?
Okay. See?
Spring of 2016?
See how vague?
I think of it now. You want to know what it is? It's videos for me now, I think it. Because I can be like, oh, I know I posted that around Christmas, or like I know I...
That's which is so interesting.
Yeah. But really, if it wasn't for things like, you know, digital photo albums and your Photos app.
No, I know.
That keeps me on track.
Sometimes, even within a year, I don't even remember what I've done. And I have to go back to January and take, like, look at my Instagram
back to
photos.
Torchella.
Like,
we were saying, what were your favorite things that you accomplished?
Oh, yeah, and I was like, let me look at
I go, you went to Asia. You go, no, I didn't. I go, you went to Asia when you were 22, like this past year. You're like, no, I didn't.
And then I was like, damn, yeah, I did. That's what I mean. Like, you start to, like, lose track of time.
But you said something really interesting, which I never thought of it this way. You said that you think of your life kind of in your age years. So it resets every summer for you.
Yeah, from August to August.
Right. Whereas I never thought about it, but maybe I do the same thing, but since I'm like a late December birthday, it always coincides with the new year. So I just always think about it in New Year's, like, oh, 2019, 2018, but also that aligns with my birth years.
It's easy for
you,
because, yeah, you're getting older as the year changes.
It actually kind of blew my mind when you said that, though, and like, you're like, oh no, each year resets in the summer for me.
Yeah.
And mine's always been, oh no, like end of December, January is when it's my reset.
Yeah, like I set like intentions in the new year, but I always feel like my birthday signifies like, okay, what will I do within, like when I bought a condo at 21, I was very specifically not being like, oh, I bought it in 2019. I was like, no, at the age of 21, what did I accomplish, if that makes sense? Like in my age year, what have I done that like made a difference?
I think about it in years, like in 2019, I bought my condo. Instead of saying at 21, I bought my condo.
Yeah, I don't know why I do that.
Okay, this is also something... This is really just getting more into like meta in the sense like how your brain actually thinks.
Yeah.
But when you think of like numbers or even like months, do you see them in your brain like the word? Or like when you're actually thinking about like January, like I actually kind of see like a calendar laid out, but then it goes across like June, July, and then August, like they're beside each other, and then the rest of the month is down there in my brain if I'm thinking of it.
Wait,
and then somehow December and January.
What are you talking about?
Like, you know, if you're thinking of like the number 2. Like, I see like a blue 2 in my head.
Okay, absolutely not. My brain is chillin'. There is nothing going on up there that's blue
like,
or lined.
If you're thinking of May, like how do you see that in your brain? If you truly think about it.
Adam's birthday.
No, but visually, are you seeing anything?
Adam's face smiling at me.
May, you just see a face?
No,
but
May,
like, if you
I just
like, think of a schedule. Do you picture a calendar in your head?
Not at all. I just picture like memories that I've had in May.
But okay, say if someone's like scheduling something and they're like, oh, like next September, like
I'd be like 6 September. I don't think about it like that.
Oh, really?
I'm just like September. There's no like, I'm not triggered. There's nothing in my brain showing me something.
Like I know, like not immediately. Like obviously, like that's not like the first thing in my brain. But if I actually truly think about how I think of things,
no, absolutely
like thinking about how you're thinking, does that make sense?
Yeah, but that doesn't happen to me.
Oh, really?
In one ear out the other is how I like to
If you're doing like math though in your head, are you seeing the numbers in your head?
I don't do a lot of math.
No, but like honestly though, like
math.
do you see that do you see numbers in
No,
your
I'm
head?
not. I'm not a visual learner.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
I guess I could have opened with that because now we've
okay,
had this
that makes way
conversation
more
for 10 minutes.
sense if you're like
I'm like so Ken's and I always say that we learn the exact same way. Like I learn by speaking out loud, repetition is important for me, and reading is important for me for learning because I have a more of a photographic memory in the sense that once I've seen something once, it's really rare that I will like completely forget it. Like, for example, if I've driven somewhere before and I've seen a certain blue house on a corner and I know that that means I have to turn right, whereas most people wouldn't notice that thing, I'm like, oh, we have to turn right here. Like, like my brain like triggers in memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. You know what's
Which is why I'm good at like memorizing lines and like if someone said like, you know, like read this and try and repeat to me exactly the thing, I would be very good at that. Yeah.
Right. No, that makes sense. It was really interesting because I was thinking about this last night because someone was reading an email to me out loud, and I cannot understand by just listening.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh no, give me the email. I need to read it myself. And this goes back to our whole thing. Maybe we're just really bad listeners, but I need to like see the text to be able to register what it is versus just listening to it.
Right.
And I think that actually makes sense though into like my life as well. If someone tells me something, I will forget it much more easily. Whoa, are your emails okay right now?
Yeah, I know. Why does this always
Do you have an emergency happening on your phone?
No, I think it's fine, but why when we do Poddy is my phone always off the hook? I don't know, that's so
I feel
crazy.
like my phone is never blowing up. I don't text people. I tell people don't text me. Email notifications, I do have turned off my home screen so it doesn't stress me out.
Jeez.
So I just know, I don't like seeing notifications on my phone. It's like,
Yeah, it is anxiety ridden. So really the topic of the week and the thing that upset me the most this week was Miley and Liam breakup.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about that.
You know what?
I'm not talking about it.
Are you sad about it? Yeah, she's not speaking. This is the thing. He put out a statement saying, you know, I wish her...
Cry. Oh my God.
He's like, I wish her the best. Like any statement that media have put out there are
like
untrue.
that wasn't mine, right?
Yeah.
Which is weird because there was a lot of Liam quotes getting.
Were there? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I saw a few like that E! News was pushing out.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Okay, well that was not true. Why did you quote that?
So how do you feel about it?
Okay, well this is my whole thing.
Let's start with this. How do you feel about divorce?
Maybe it's just like I'm not like a marriage person.
Okay.
I just don't understand it. Like if you necessarily need a piece of like paper to
love
government
someone?
Like legally bound your love.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you need, but also I'm not in love with anyone right now, so maybe if I'm in love, I'm like, you know what, we need a paper to really signify. Like I don't know, maybe that's what you need. I do think times are changing. I mean, studies show that like marriage is on the decline, but relationships aren't.
Yeah.
So I think maybe just like the value on that is changing. I think
or just like doing it differently.
Yeah, but
setting a different precedent.
I don't know. I also think that like I'm not like anti-divorce if you're with someone and it's clearly a toxic relationship or not like great for you. Like I mean, get out.
Yeah.
You got to live your truth. Like I agree. I don't agree with the idea of well, I'm married to them, I'm committed, I have to stick with them just to like see this marriage through.
I agree.
It's like no, I'm not saying of course fight for something or like work on things, but also if it's truly not it, you need to live your truth and not live your life like with this whole weight of this is not what I want. Like
it's funny.
That makes no sense to me. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I have very mixed reviews because part of me thinks when kids get involved that really complicates things.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think it's an interesting fact that every single one of my close friends has parents that have been together for more than 20 years that are still married. And I think that's also interesting because I also have a friend whose parents are divorced, and every single one of her close friends has parents that are divorced.
But do you think you just attract people that you have similar lives to?
Oh, probably, like potentially. That's what I'm saying. But I also think that that's such an interesting, I don't know, that's an interesting piece of information to go through life having because it really comes down to morally how you've been raised and how you feel about things. Like I would say like
but do you
it's
think you
rare.
You would be friends with someone because of that?
No.
Like I would say a lot of my
no.
I'd say actually majority of my friends' parents
are
aren't
divorced
together. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. No,
like I don't see a correlation on my end.
No, I just think it's interesting that people with parents that are still together, in my opinion, this is like purely opinion.
Yeah, no, totally. That's what this is.
Nothing else. It's not based on any information.
Yeah. No, of course.
But I do think that people that have parents that are still together perform better in their own relationships. I do believe that.
Really?
Yeah. You know why? Because there's a sense of negativity. No, but there's a sense of negativity, especially if you're a child that has come from divorce. You're telling me you have no negative taste in your mouth once your parents have gone through a divorce and you were raised in that setting and there's this animosity. And hey, this could be very specific to one scenario. Like, you could have parents that got divorced and it was very amicable and they're still friends and it's all chill and it doesn't affect your life, and if anything, it's more positive. And totally, that could totally be a scenario.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, generally speaking, I would say that people that come from a divorce, a divorced couple or family, have a bit more of a negative connotation and or do not perform as well in relationships based on their examples. Like, the way you see a relationship function as you grow up is also how you probably don't even realize it will act in a relationship moving forward.
I see where you're coming from.
It's the same idea of like being in a, like growing up, if there was any abuse, it's not unrare for that to happen again in later relationships. Like, I'm not saying that it's in every scenario. I just, from only my own experience, what I've seen of people that have come from divorce or kids that act a certain way in relationships, it somehow is a reflection of like their parents or what their parents had done. Like, not always, but I'm just saying, like, that is something I've like kind of seen along the way.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just something that I've never like really recognized any patterns or like been super conscious of. I feel like I don't really like have much of an understanding or like basis to really like make an informed opinion about that.
Well, also, I guess you haven't been in a serious relationship, which is, I think, when you learn a lot about like those random moral traits that like your parents have. Like, maybe, but do you know what I mean? Like, once you're dating someone, maybe you'll be like, oh my God, I just, like, I've found myself in scenarios with Adam being like, oh my God, I'm my mother. And you don't even realize it until later, like after the fact, but you're like, oh damn, I like totally fell into that trait, or like I totally did that same thing that my, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I think that makes sense. It is interesting though that you say that you think that most of your friends have similar family life to you. That's fascinating. I've never felt that way.
90% of my close-knit group of friends, if not more, come from families that either have siblings, like not a lot of only children, and a couple. Love them. And also parents that have been married a long time.
Now, do you think, this is what I find maybe a bit more fascinating about it, do you think that that is coincidence or somehow a subconscious
I don't think
attribute?
It's a coincidence. I don't think it's coincidence. I have never truly resonated fully with like only children.
Oh my God, wait, that's such a blanket statement.
Is
really?
It?
Do you feel that?
Yeah. You know what it is? It's like an inherent selfishness. Like, I think you
I don't
learn.
think that's fair.
Oh, I do. I think.
I
really?
don't think that's fair.
Do you have think about an only child friend that you have?
Wait, now that I think about it, I'm like, do I have any only child friends?
See, do you even have an only child friend?
I'm trying to think.
Exactly, you're judged fast, but then you're like, I don't even have.
Not that I judge. I just feel like that's like, I just think of the perspective, if I was an only child, hearing that, it would feel limiting. It's like, oh, well, people think I'm just inherently selfish. I'm like, well, I don't think I even know enough, like, only children to make that statement, you know?
I feel like I do.
Oh, do you? Maybe
like, I feel like and to be fair,
like
I don't mean that in like an older, I don't mean that as like an adult, really. Like, let me be clear. Like, if I met an only child, I'm not like,
stay clear.
And it's not like I'm like judgy about it, that I think they're like.
I'm sorry, was that a child that just wheeled a massive camera on a tripod?
I did not see.
That was a toddler.
Crazy. I don't know. But maybe I'm digging myself a deep hole here because I'm just making blanket statements, which totally could be the case.
I don't think that's a hole. I think if that's your personal experience, that's valid. I'm just saying, I don't think I have enough experience to like even say that. Like, I don't even know how many.
Also, only children usually admit it. Like, they're like, no, seriously. Like, they'll be like, yeah, like, I kind of wish I grew up with siblings. Like, there's something you randomly learn about having to share at a young age, having to share attention, having to share things, having to, you know, care for someone else. You're not the only one getting the attention. I don't care what anyone says. You naturally are going to be different if you are raised with a sibling. I know an only
child. I have a friend that's an only child. I've been like thinking.
Do you like her?
Actually, yeah. She's like, I call her my cousin because we're so close. Because I was trying to think. I was like,
we're so close. I forgot she was an only child.
No, but like, I don't think of people as like who their siblings are, like by their family, really.
Yeah.
I think just probably statistically based, I would argue, at least maybe in the area that we're from, majority of families aren't only child. Like,
aren't. No.
Yeah, like I think it's definitely more of a smaller.
It's more like, honestly, this next generation that will be only children.
Do you think?
Yeah, because
why?
Because people are making less money,
Oh, really?
The price of living is becoming so much more expensive. So to raise 3 kids is like nearly unaffordable.
Totally. I feel like, though, I was reading an article. I mean, I don't know how legit this article was. Don't even remember what it was. But saying something along the lines that people, we have lost light in the studio.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Should we keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going. This is hilarious, but let's text someone in the meantime to...
Guys, we lost light. Anyways, yeah, maybe I dug set myself a bit of a hole there, because it's not that I have like a negative taste in my mouth to only children. I guess I just think that they see life a bit differently.
We have lost light in the studio. Can you help? We are still...
Wait, can you imagine that someone is just behind the scenes, like
laughing at us?
They're like, mwah, this is also just hilarious. Hey guys on YouTube, can you still see us?
Wait, we're keeping this in.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, and I didn't mean to. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that you were digging yourself into a hole. It was just more of like, I feel like not. I can't actually make an informed opinion about it.
Yeah.
But I also feel like you probably had a different experience growing up in the city, in the sense that you know.
Yeah.
The more dynamic of families, where I feel like growing up.
It also doesn't make a huge difference. You can still be a shit person even if you have siblings.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
I've met some of them.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah,
It's like,
totally.
It's not a huge defining factor. I just do think, like, these small things like being an only child, things like coming from divorce, these,
Or
like,
do you
very
think
small...
it's what the media has fed us and what movies has told us about those types of people / those types of families, so then we are more conscious when we have those relationships in real life, and then are more likely to
They've
pull that
always
out of
proved
people.
me right, though. Do you know what I mean, though?
No.
Like, even if it's
There's some sort
a
of validity, maybe?
stereotype is always based on something. Think about that.
No.
Even if it's a trope in a movie, it's still based off of a life fact.
Oh,
so
I think she might be in a... Sorry, I'm just thinking about this light situation.
no, she's definitely in a meeting. But we can hop into Roses and Thorns.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna... are we just gonna finish it off with the light off? This is hilarious.
Sorry, guys. This is Poddy Talk at night.
Poddy Talk After Hours.
After dark. So yeah, anyways, love all my friends
we have
that
lost every single only child listener and all children that have divorced families and parents.
But this is what I want to be clear about, not judging at all. I'm just like, it's simply just...
Well, that's what I think. It's hard if you feel like very defined by your circumstances.
Totally.
And I think that no one is.
And I agree. And it's also so like circumstantial and, you know, I don't know. So I came at that from the wrong angle, I guess. But it's fine.
No, this is where we just...
This is Poddy Talk.
This is Poddy Talk for sure.
So a rose of today is that, I guess that, like, the craziness of life is over. I'm stoked about that.
Yes.
A thorn is that we're sitting in the dark.
I kind of like it.
It's cute.
I mean, I don't like it for our visual watchers, but
Yeah, we don't hate it. And a rosebud is, we're doing a wine tour on Sunday. I'm super excited for that. How about you?
Okay, so a rose is that this episode is the last episode of just the two of us, and thank God, because I cannot stand the two of us anymore.
True. Now I'm just making blanket statements. I'm done.
No.
I've wrapped out.
No, what I meant...
Guys, I've run out of ideas.
No, what I mean by that, though, is next week I think, knock on wood, we will have our first guest. We want to casually bring people onto the podcast. We don't want it to be super formal, but we do want to host other people and hear other people's opinions and their stories and hear them shit talk their own lives and all of that. And not only to just keep it exciting for you guys, but also for us. I think we're such people person. We're such grammar people.
People.
So, yeah, I'm really excited to,
bring some guests on.
I see that that's on the horizon, so that is definitely a rose. I'm going to get really excited for that.
I also think we have some really fucking funny friends. So it's like if we think we're even funny at all, they're way funnier than us.
No, we're not funny. We're probably like a 2 in the friend group.
I agree.
We add the general spice,
I feel like we're
but
zesty. We're zesty, but we're not
the zinger.
I agree.
We have some friends that are the
zinger.
And the zingers will be coming in. Anyway, so that's kind of a rose. I guess that's kind of a rosebud, though, too, because I'm looking forward to something. Another rose, I have to say, I was alive and feeling great this morning, despite, going to bed really late. I woke up with some...
zest?
With just a passion for life today.
Love that.
Some days I wake up and the passion isn't there.
Yeah.
The passion
today there was passion.
And then another, rosebud,
Yeah.
You know what?
Sunday. Our wine.
Oh, yeah, no, that'll be a nice little getaway. A lot of zingers and zesty people in that friend group that's coming there.
True.
But no, I'm really excited for, I have a bit of downtime this afternoon. It's going to be a crazy night, and then, this morning was a little hectic. but I have like 4 videos that I filmed. I just need to sit down, edit, and get them churned out. So I'm excited just to like get things done.
Be productive.
And, yeah, no, it's been feeling very efficient this week, and I love the feeling of getting things done.
So you know what actually just came to me right now?
Oh, here, I just thought of something really great also.
We missed our introduction. We didn't go, welcome back to Poddy Talk, the podcast where we shit talk ourselves.
Did we start off with that?
Think about it. Think about it really, really briefly right now. We didn't do it because...
How?
No, remember we started talking, you started talking about, you know, we talked about me sleeping in the trailer, and then we cut to thing, and then we did roar, and then we never said it.
Look what this is.
So guys,
okay, let's try it again.
Thanks for tuning into Poddy Talk, the podcast where we shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Tor.
And this has been another episode Over and Out.
People
don't
walking
understand
by
what's going on in here.
Over and out. See you next week. Love you, only children. Bye.
Jeez Louise.